In the advertising world of Hollywood, where trailers tease, posters tantalize, and hype reigns supreme, there exists this dark comedic underbelly, known as deceptive marketing. Argylle, the much-anticipated spy thriller promising high-octane action and star-studded glamour, found itself ensnared in a web of deceitful marketing that left audiences, myself included, scratching their heads and clutching their popcorn. Pearls, pursed fist, whatever works. But did Argylle actually lie in their marketing? Not really, but also kinda. And unfortunately, it's those marketing mishaps that turned a promising blockbuster into a bit of a comedic spectacle. Shall we start with the elephant in the room? The Cavill charade? Henry Cavill. The chiseled jawline, the smoldering gaze, the undeniable charm. He was the face of Argylle's marketing campaign. Or, at the very least, his haircut was. But Cavill was poised to elevate the film to stratospheric heights of success. Or so we thought. But instead of the suave and sophisticated spy that we were promised, there were a good amount of times where Cavill's character almost looked like he didn't belong there. I mean, they really had Superman looking super awkward at times. I'm sorry, I had to take it. Now, to be fair, he absolutely makes do with what he's given. But ironically, or maybe unironically, if you haven't heard yet, he's not in it much. Neither is Dualipa. But ask most of the general audience or media heads who they thought were the main characters, and I'm willing to bet a good amount of people would mention those two rather than Bryce Dallas Howard and Sam Rockwell. But regardless of what we may want to think, the trailer does do a good job of showing multiple sides of the movie, not just Henry Cavill, even though they do put him front and center seemingly as the main spy. But alas, no, this is not a Henry Cavill spy movie. And honestly, Henry Cavill might want to distance himself as far away as possible from this movie. Luckily, we've seen him in better roles. Hell, we've even seen him in a better spy role, one that he was actually in for a considerable amount of time. But then there's Dualipa. Pop sensation, chart topper, and queen of the dance floor, Dualipa was looked at as a bit of a wild card, one to add a touch of glamour and intrigue to Argylle's ensemble cast, and I'll just get it out of the way. Hers was a lot easier to tell that she wouldn't be in the movie a lot. Sometimes when a cameo looks like a cameo, it's just that. Yet, despite her sashaying into the trailer like a misplaced backup dancer, the marketing team had no problem putting her front and center in the advertisements. So how did Argylle manage to deceive a good amount of the audience and media into believing that Cavill and Lipa were the main attractions of the film? Well, that's partially your fault. Yes, you. Of course, they absolutely used editing to their advantage, from the trailers to the strategic placement of their names on the poster, or even the tantalizing hints dropped by the marketing team to put out to the world. But they also used people's love of Dualipa, their love of Henry Cavill, and perhaps even more than that, people's desire to see Henry Cavill become the next James Bond, which admittedly is a very smart tactic. Hell, even letting rumors of Taylor Swift secretly writing the movie knowing that she's friends with Dualipa was also a smart tactic. I know that one absolutely wasn't planned, but they definitely tried to use it to their advantage. Desire can be very easy to play off of when you're doing advertising, but when you mix desire with something that's trending, like the constant question of who's going to take Daniel Craig's place as Bond, you can have a real winner on your hands when it comes to audience engagement. Whatever the case may be, one thing's for certain. Argylle's marketing misdirection left a lot of people scratching their heads, and that really showed in the reviews. Thus, in the annals of cinematic mishaps, Argylle's marketing surrounding Henry Cavill and Dualipa will forever stand as kind of a hilarious testament to the perils of overhyping and underdelivering. With its deceptive promises of star power, fleeting cameos, and comedic chaos, it's hard not to laugh at the absurdity of it all. So here's to Henry Cavill and Dualipa, the unwitting stars of Argylle's marketing campaign, whose fleeting appearances will forever be remembered as more cameo than cinematic masterpieces. But geez, if you're gonna be deceptive in the marketing, at least try to make some money. $200 million. Really?